Imagine working your day job, making money designing. Then suddenly, you crack the code to humanity's oldest story. That's exactly what happened to George Smith in 1872. This banknote engraver became the man who gave us the Epic of Gilgamesh. George Smith was not your typical ancient history expert. He carved designs into metal plates for making banknotes. Think of him like a modern graphic designer, but working with hammers and chisels. Every day, Smith created tiny, detailed pictures on copper plates. These plates printed the fancy patterns you see on old money. It required incredible patience and sharp eyes. Smith had to notice every small line and curve. But Smith had a secret hobby. During his lunch breaks, he visited the British Museum. There, he stared at broken clay tablets covered in strange wedge-shaped marks. These marks were called cuneiform writing. Most people thought they looked like chicken scratches. Smith was fascinated by these ancient puzzles. He taught himself to read cuneiform using books and museum guides. Nobody paid him to do this. He just loved solving mysteries. The museum workers noticed Smith's interest. They saw him studying the tablets day after day. Soon, they offered him a part-time job organizing the collection. Smith jumped at the chance. He spent years sorting through thousands of broken pieces. Each tablet was like a jigsaw puzzle with missing pieces. Some tablets had only a few lines of text. Others were nearly complete stories. Smith discovered that many tablets contained the same stories. Different versions existed in different cities and periods. He began piecing together these ancient tales like a detective. His engraving skills helped him tremendously. He could spot tiny details that others missed. A small chip or crack told him how pieces fit together. His trained eyes saw patterns everywhere. Think about learning a new language from broken comic books. You'd need patience, skill, and lots of detective work. That's exactly what Smith was doing with 4,000-year-old stories. Have you ever worked on a jigsaw puzzle with missing pieces? How frustrating was it when you couldn't complete the picture? In November 1872, Smith made a discovery that shook the world. He was examining a tablet fragment when familiar words caught his eye. The text described a great flood that covered the earth. This wasn't just any flood story. It matched the biblical story of Noah's Ark almost perfectly. But this version was much, much older. The tablet came from ancient Babylon, written centuries before the Bible. Smith realized he was looking at the original flood story. His hands probably shook as he read the ancient words. The hero's name was Utnapishtim, not Noah. But the basic story was identical. A god warns the hero about a coming flood. The hero builds a huge boat and saves animals. The flood destroys everything else on earth. The boat lands on a mountain after the waters recede. Smith announced his discovery to the Royal Society of Biblical Archaeology. The room fell silent as he read the translation. Then chaos erupted. Some people cheered, others argued loudly. The discovery made front-page news around the world. Newspapers called it the greatest archaeological find ever made. Religious leaders debated what this meant for their faith. But Smith knew this tablet was just one piece of a larger story. The flood tale appeared to be part of a longer epic. He needed to find more pieces to complete the puzzle. The Daily Telegraph newspaper offered Smith 1,000 guineas to find the missing parts. That's like offering someone $100,000 today. Smith packed his bags for Mesopotamia immediately. Imagine finding a page from a book you've never read. You can see it's an exciting story, but you're missing the beginning and end. That burning curiosity drove Smith to travel thousands of miles. In Iraq, Smith searched through ancient ruins. He dug through tons of broken pottery and clay. After months of searching, he found more pieces of the story. Have you ever been so curious about something that you couldn't sleep until you found the answer? Smith's discoveries revealed the world's oldest known story. The Epic of Gilgamesh told of a king's search for immortality. It was like finding the first novel ever written. Gilgamesh was the king of Uruk, an ancient city. He was 2/3 god and 1/3 human. This made him incredibly strong, but also very arrogant. He bullied his people and acted like a tyrant. The gods decided to teach Gilgamesh a lesson. They created Enkidu, a wild man who lived with animals. Enkidu was meant to challenge the king and humble him. At first, Gilgamesh and Enkidu fought like enemies. They wrestled through the streets, destroying buildings. But their fight ended in mutual respect. They became best friends instead of enemies. Together, they went on amazing adventures. They fought monsters and explored distant lands. They defeated Humbaba, the guardian of the cedar forest. They also killed the bull of heaven. But tragedy struck when Enkidu died from a curse. Gilgamesh was devastated by losing his best friend. He had never experienced such grief and loss before. The king's sorrow drove him to search for eternal life. He wanted to bring back Enkidu and avoid death himself. This quest led him to meet Utnapishtim, the flood survivor. Utnapishtim told Gilgamesh about a plant that granted youth. The king found this magical plant at the bottom of the sea, but a snake stole it while he was sleeping. Smith realized this story contained universal human themes. Everyone fears death and treasures friendship. Everyone struggles with loss and searches for meaning. The story felt modern despite being ancient. Think about your closest friendship. What would you do if you lost that person? Gilgamesh's grief feels real even after 4,000 years. The epic showed that humans haven't changed much. We still ask the same big questions about life and death. What do you think makes a story timeless enough to survive thousands of years? Smith's work changed how we understand human history. He proved that great literature existed long before Greece and Rome. Civilization was much older than anyone had imagined. The Epic of Gilgamesh influenced countless later stories. The flood narrative appeared in many cultures' myths. Heroes' journeys became a standard storytelling pattern worldwide. Modern movies still use Gilgamesh's story structure. A powerful hero faces challenges and learns humility. Friends support each other through impossible odds. Loss teaches valuable lessons about life. Smith's translation work inspired other archaeologists. They began searching for more ancient literature. Soon, they discovered poems, laws, and histories from forgotten civilizations. Universities started teaching cuneiform writing to new students. Museums displayed these ancient tablets with pride. The public became fascinated with archaeology and ancient history. Smith himself became famous throughout Europe. Universities invited him to lecture about his discoveries. He wrote books that became bestsellers in multiple languages. Sadly, Smith died young during another expedition to Iraq. He was only 36 years old when illness took him, but his legacy lived on through his translations and discoveries. Today, we have much more of Gilgamesh's story. Archaeologists found additional tablets that filled the missing gaps. We can now read nearly the complete epic. The story appears in modern books, movies, and video games. Artists create paintings and sculptures of Gilgamesh's adventures. Musicians compose songs about his friendship with Enkidu. Smith proved that one person's curiosity can change the world. He started as a banknote engraver with a hobby. He ended up giving humanity its oldest masterpiece. His story shows that expertise can come from unexpected places. You don't need fancy degrees to make important discoveries. Passion and dedication matter more than formal training. Think about your hobbies and interests. Could any of them lead to something bigger than you imagine? What would you do if you discovered something that changed how people understand history? George Smith's incredible journey shows how curiosity leads to amazing discoveries. A banknote engraver became the man who decoded humanity's first great story. He found the original flood narrative and gave us the Epic of Gilgamesh. His work proved that great literature existed 4,000 years ago. Smith's legacy reminds us that anyone can make history-changing discoveries with enough passion and dedication. If you enjoyed learning about this amazing discovery, please like this video and subscribe for more incredible stories from history. What should we explore next?